You want to be famous? You want to be a star? You want to be in movies? They may have been able to see the world, drive nice cars, and have hella groupies, but how much does that really matter when the cost of it all is your soul? Dramatic? Maybe. But according to the details we've gathered, being a certified pussycat doll isn't or wasn't as cracked up as doll founder Robin Antin pitched it to be.
It's the PussyCat Dolls, and you're back. There is a glitter ball exploding in my head at the moment.
The PussyCat Dolls dominated the early 2000s with their back-to-back hits Buttons, StickWitU, Don't Ya, When I Grow Up, and more. Headed by leading lady Nicole Scherzinger, the PussyCat Dolls, or Nicole Scherzinger and her backup dancers, had a long run in the music game before disbanding once in the 2000s, then again in 2021. The jaw-dropping revelations following their split has left many wondering what exactly went on behind the scenes at the doll-making factory. And what all does Antin and Nicole really know? The same founder of the sexed up Girlicious made the PussyCat Dolls do what now? Say it ain't so! But before we start pointing the finger and shouting out allegations, let's give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Back in the day, although they weren't as solidified or taken as seriously as other girl groups like, let's say, Destiny's Child, or heck, even the Spice Girls, the PussyCat Dolls were them girls. If you know, you know, and y'all do. The Dolls exploded on the scene in 2005 with their hit single, Don't Ya. They were the cool kids, or dolls, on the block. They were sexy, and they were the moment. But before the girls got their big break, believe it or not, the PussyCat Dolls weren't always the PussyCat Dolls. The sextet, or septet, originally established as a burlesque dance troupe. Robin Antin, the Dolls' founder, got the idea of creating her own modern burlesque group during the 90s with Carla Kama and Christina Applegate. Yes, Kelly Bundy as performers. With 50s and 60s tunes complementing the troupe's performances, the group began performing in 1995, stunning in lingerie or vintage pin-up get-ups. Securing a Thursday night residency in LA was their next move. More in particular, the infamous Viper Room was used as the group's home base for the next 6 years, along with appearances in films like Matters of Consequence and The Treat. And as time went on, Robin's burlesque troupe, Nicole, received more press coverage and gathered a cult-like following, especially in the LA party scene. Guest performers would include several celebrity guests, often headed by Carmen Electra, and were even able to achieve a Playboy feature in 1999. In it, a pictorial featuring some of the girls posing semi-nude. Again, this was all pre-Nicole. A few years later, Robin and her dolls packed up and headed to the Roxy Theater out in West Hollywood, where the dolls' popularity spiked even further. Appearances in magazines, TV specials, ad campaigns, films like Charlie's Angels, and anything else they could slide into was their next move. Singer Pink's Trouble music video had also been antified. And A-list appearances by Christina Aguilera, Brittany Murphy, Charlize Theron, burlesque mother Dita Von Teese, Scarlett Johansson, and more blessed the burlesque stage, performing to audiences also filled with some of your faves, like Leonardo DiCaprio. Are we surprised? The more the troupe took off, the more Robin saw dollar signs. Taking her chances, she got in contact with those over at Interscope Records, who evolved Robin's dance dream from burlesque performers to international superstars. Unfortunately for the majority of the group, they get the boot minus Carmit, Sia, Casey, Ashley, Jessica, and Kimberly. Auditions were held for a second separate group where Nicole Scherzinger, Melody Thornton, and Kaya Jones were all recruited. In 2004, the newly established PussyCat Dolls performed Big Spender on MTV Asia and recorded music for popular movies. Member Kaya Jones would eventually leave the group shortly after, and Robin took on the position as manager and creative director. Their debut album, PCD, released in September of 2005, went on to dominate in all aspects, with over 3 million copies sold in the United States alone. PCD's leading single, Don't Ya, as you probably already know, went on to become the girls' first ever #1 hit in various countries, reaching #2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US, followed by the R&B coded StickWitU. their second #1 hit. Grammy noms and many accolades soon followed, and the PussyCat Dolls' reintroduction to the world was on go. Opening for the Black Eyed Peas, NBA performances, and of course, more hits came about. Buttons and the Buttons remix featuring Snoop Dogg added that razzle-dazzle the group was looking for. Another Billboard Top 5 hit scored, and sealed under their belt, y'all already know what came next. Their own tour with none other than Rihanna as their opening act. To help push their PCD sales a little bit more, the Dolls also toured with group Danity Kane and linked back up with Christina Aguilera on her Back to Basics tour in North America. The girls' success continued to catapult, bringing them an array of spin-offs, including a CW reality series, PussyCat Dolls Present: The Search for the Next Doll, with hopes of seeking out their 7th member. Asia Netolano went on to win the competition show, but quit a few months after its finale. By the time 2007 came around, the PussyCat Dolls' performances would decrease, and their stint as the Dolls soon came to a hiatus in order to focus more on lead singer Nicole and her solo endeavors. Her name is Nicole. What would have been Nicole Scherzinger's debut solo album had been shelved after 4 singles failed to impress the average listener. The following year, it had been announced on the PussyCat Dolls website that member Carmit was leaving the group indefinitely to pursue her own solo career. In May of that year, their hit single When I Grow Up off of their next album came to shake up the summer of '08. Its choreo-filled, fun music video was nominated for the highest number of awards at that year's MTV VMAs. And despite attaining their highest peak position on the Billboard 200, it failed to compare in sales to their previous album. 3 other singles would come out of the album, including I Hate This Part, and in 2009, the remaining Dolls embarked on the Doll Domination Tour, which grossed over $14 million. Opening for Britney Spears, the tour was an overall success, but the PCDs went on a much-deserved hiatus. In the meanwhile, we'd find out new members were being added to the group, as if anyone of the general public could name any other PussyCat doll minus Nicole. So it wasn't like we'd know the difference anyway. Just keeping it real. Early 2010 members Jessica Sutter, Ashley Roberts, Kimberly Wyatt, and Melody Thornton announced their exit from the Dolls, and it had been announced via Kimberly Wyatt that the PussyCat Dolls further ceased to exist. Fans were confused, wondering what exactly happened to the girls once it was announced that 4 new girls were to join Nicole Scherzinger in a completely different lineup. But even that didn't last long, as Nicole hung up her title as lead vocalist in favor of solo artist. Multiple attempts to resurrect the group came about, but none of it lasted long. October 2017 saw a whirlwind of chaos and turmoil. First, a reunion of the Dolls had been announced. Then Kaya Jones came back spilling all the truth tea, putting a fork in any plans PCD thought they were setting. Taking to X, formerly known as Twitter, Miss Kaya Jones, a former doll who got the boot in 2005, accused managers and execs of taking advantage of the young girls. A full-on prostitution ring is what she calls it. My truth. I wasn't in a girl group. I was in a prostitution ring. Oh, and we happened to sing and be famous. Well, everyone who owned us made the money. How bad was it, people ask? Bad enough that I walked away from my dreams, bandmates, and a $13 million record deal. We knew we were going to be #1. To be a part of a team, you must be a team player, meaning slept with whoever they say. If you don't want to sleep with an executive, they'll pass you to that. Or sometimes they'll continue to pass the girl, so she's just passed around. After they turn you out or get you hooked on drugs, they use it against you. Correct. Victimizing the victim again. Why don't we report it? Because we were all abused. I personally have been warned if I tell, I will end up dead or no more career. Addressing PCD founder Robin Antin indirectly, Kaya continued on with her Twitter rant. We still calling it Twitter over here, and I don't care who mad about it. I want the dead mother from hell to confess why another one of her girl group girls committed suicide. Tell the public how you mentally broke us. Referring to singer Simone Battles passing back in 2014, who had been a part of GRL, Robin's first attempt at a Pussy Doll girl replica group. The abrupt sound-off of tweets came after the whole Me Too movement came flooding in. When word got back to Antin, she denied all of the allegations, calling Kaya's comments nasty, going on to say that Jones was barely in the group to begin with. As for the other ladies in the group, crickets. Aside from a few cryptic tweets from a few of them which really didn't address anything or anyone, nor do we even know if they were talking about the situation. As if Kaya was practically saying Robin Antin was a pimp and the dolls her hoes. Everybody just skipped right on past that, and their next move would be a reunion tour, covering their greatest hits during the pandemic that would later get pushed to 2021. The comeback came with an appearance on the X Factor celebrity finale, where the girls performed some of their best jams like Buttons, When I Grow Up, and a new song that had yet to be released called React. In a case of y'all worried about the wrong things, over 400 complaints were made to the British broadcasting regulator Ofcom for doing what they do best. Supposedly their risque outfits and raunchiness was a tad too much for some of the viewers. Hella ideas and collabs with some of the most popular artists out right now like Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, and more were all in the works, but alas, 2022 came and Nicole confirmed the tour's cancellation on Instagram. And surprise, surprise, the other members had absolutely no idea that their tour was canceled until the post. We want to say how incredibly disappointed we are to learn of an announcement made on Instagram that the PussyCat Dolls reunion tour is canceled. As of now, there has been no official notification of that. Well, the official notification came from Robin Antin herself, who'd also confirmed the tour's cancellation and the disbandment of the PussyCat Dolls. Yet again. What started out as Robin Antin's risque fantasy project evolved into a multi-platinum selling girl group that had an overall great run, but didn't go without its controversies and problems. Like any other group, and quite literally anyone else out there, but unlike the average artist, the Dolls' allegations of abuse and downright criminal activities were exposed by a former doll, whose voice unfortunately went under the radar yet again. Do you believe Kaya's allegations? Let us know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments, and stay tuned for more true celebrity stories.